getting into the wins, getting that confidence. That's the biggest thing.
So eyes on, pretty much. Does VP have a big game? Can they finally get the distance that they're so desperately hoping for? Can Falcons also find something to catch up with VP? They've been slowly inching their way up there, but they just can't get the big explosive game to put them right back in the thick next to VP and make this pretty much a two-horse race. Instead, it's everybody else that was in fourth, fifth, everything else like that that's creeping up and now trying to get a piece of both of them.
Yeah, it's a great question, Matt, and we only have one more game today to find out the answer, to see if either or one of those two teams can kind of solidify more distance, or if this kind of upper half tier of the lobby is going to keep catching up. These teams from 8th to 3rd really starting to make their moves, starting to get their groove. Let's see.
And you mentioned it. It's just so neck and neck there. Just a couple of kills one way or the other. A couple of placement points can really dictate tons of money right now. I mean, we can talk about club championships and everything like that, but there is just so much money on the table right now, and with it being so close, moving in with some type of momentum tomorrow is going to be so important. Let's get this last game of the day ready to go.
He can come in here and play my game. He knows nothing but go!
Tyler 1, you're done.
Raw energy. Blow the house down.
Everybody, Porsource here, and I am here to talk to a couple of members from Virtus Pro to figure out what the best strategies to survive if you found yourself in a PUBG type situation. Well, we had some fans that gave answers, and we're going to rank those answers based on how well these guys think they would work. So, let's start off with this. Tactical pack plus tons of first aid kits, EMT, hide and do fast heals in the blue until zone endgame. Blue zone until endgame.
Let me read it again.
Go ahead.
This would not work.
Not anymore.
Because it doesn't work outside the zone.
Exactly. EMT
So not effective whatsoever.
Yeah.
Put it all the way at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like this one. Find some adrenaline and pills and then hope for a glider.
Ooh.
Just
Glider
Is
would
the
be
pilot
bad.
low-key?
If he's a good pilot, it could be better.
What do you
so,
think?
I mean, you
Maybe a
survived for a
PTO?
while.
Yeah.
I think the easier is okay.
Yeah.
We like it.
I just hope you don't find Tiggletons. He's gonna no.
All right. I'd be prone and not moving unless the blue zone was tickling my feet.
That's a good strat.
I feel like
If it's all about surviving, I think it's
I've seen a certain somebody be very successful using that strat in the past.
Low-key A, no?
yeah, I would say
Better than glider.
Yeah.
We put that above glider. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm just hiding until the very end, lol. I'm playing foe the win.
Okay, now we need to be strategic though.
Yeah, now you're running out of
Because
slots.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
can we move around?
No. You're stuck.
I mean, we have to put C now.
Put a C and then we figure out what next is.
Yeah. Not a bad tech.
It's not the worst, though.
Yeah, it's not the
They're
worst.
not as good as glider. Golden pickaxe equipped. Left click, left click, left click, left click.
That's
left
for
click,
sure.
left
That's it.
Yeah.
Get digging.
Yeah.
Get digging.
Just get digging
Yeah.
and hide the leg in.
Put it in the middle.
Dig your own bunker.
That's actually the first time we've seen that at S tier. Okay, last one. Dropping school and dying within 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
This might be the best tier list made to humanity.
Honestly, I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be one of our better ones. Well, there you go. Guys, if you find yourself in a PUBG type situation, follow this tier list provided by the gentlemen of Virtus Pro, and you will be sure to come out ahead.
That S tier, the golden pickaxe. I don't think Toffees we have seen one yet. Yeah, I can't remember.
We've seen many fine pickaxes, but none that are made of gold. I will say, you talked about how Nixie likes to grind, and he gives it away in that mistake because everyone else, when they gave that EMT pack, and we're like, just hiding the blue and heal, he's like, that won't work. It got nerfed. It's not in the game anymore. Like, he knows. He's updated on the patches. He's playing the casual circuit, and that, I think, is important. With the way that this game is playing, so rapidly, changing constantly, the players who have gone back to the old days and are putting reps in outside of scrims are the players that I think are going to be rising above this year.
I mean, it goes to any of the changes, right? Well, Nixie is just keeping that very strong mindset. You know what? If a lot of players don't like the changes, whether it's destructible terrain, whether it was a switch in perspective, doesn't matter what it is, he's going to take that as, you know what? I love these changes. I'm going to make sure that if anyone doesn't like him, I'm going to be the first one to come out and be strong, and that's exactly what he's doing. The amount of time Nixie and his team put into this game is absolutely disgusting, and it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, it has definitely showcased. By the way, Full Sense being able to get that chicken dinner in the last one. But the main storyline, boys, the Vicious Esports, this is their third game in a row that they've been able to get 10 or more kills, and they've been able to place now back to back top threes.
I mean, you got to be vicious. You got to have it in your name. You got to be out there to take some heads when it's time. 3 games of double digits in a row. It's gone down each time, but still getting 10 on that one is insane. The fact that they've gone from so little to so much, the fact that we keep comparing them to VP in these head-to-heads over and over again tells me this is a team who woke up. They said it's time to turn on, to get Tycon and going.
And that's the thing. I'm glad you mentioned it as we look at this beautiful... it sucks that it was on Liquid, but they're just having a day, I guess.
It ruined your whole vibe.
Kind of ruined my whole vibe. Thanks a lot, Twisted. No, but the thing that's really impressive, as you mentioned, Tycon, it's not just Tycon. The fact that we also have YMKood, Pow, and Sir T in the mix, killing. They're all contributing to this team, and they're playing so damn lights out that a lot of the teams around them, I mean, the only reason Full Sense really was able to take them out in this game is because they had already dealt with 2 other teams.
Yeah.
And Vicious didn't really have to do much of the rotation in this game, but they were still finding a way to make sure that they ended up getting those kills, which is pleasant to see when a team is able to just take full advantage of that and then just continuing with the kills. It's insane what we're currently seeing out of the Vicious. It's insane what we saw out of GAM in that last game as well, because this squad was able to, with that 14-point performance, jump up from that last place. As we were talking earlier, there is a lot of money still at stake where you end up being in the leaderboard, and for GAM, that's good. We saw some fans here earlier too.
Yeah. You know, we got a couple of shouts for GAM. They got some fans here. They get to make some big pushes. But I think really what benefited both GAM and Vicious, but particularly Vicious here, is that the expectations fell off when they showed up today. They were far enough behind that everyone just stopped looking at them. They across the board, you're like, okay, whatever we do today can't get worse. So you go out there and you just push. And Vicious is going to go from now on. They're going to say, okay, it worked. Even if I have one bad game, I'm not going to readjust after this one. I'm going to say aggression is my only option. And they're going to do this until either Smash Rule finishes or we hit the 18. I bet they go full force.
Yeah, and look at the leaderboards. They're currently in 3rd place. And again, you know, to talk about the roster, my favorite of that team, and one of the better support players for them, I call him YMKood, but it's really Duckmai, but it's an old meme. But I feel like Duckmai has been so instrumental, and he's always watching the rear, right? He's always making sure that their anchor is safe, and then they have Tycon who's able to just go forward, do whatever he wants, and the other 2 also supporting him, and they're just all fragging, which again is wonderful to see. And I think a big part of that is the expectations were gone and the confidence started to build.
And they're making a concerted effort to get out in front as quickly as possible.
Very proactive.
Now, Falcons, in that last game, I thought we had the shot. VP got caught up a little bit. Falcons was kind of slow playing it in town. In fact, it felt like they were even moving over to where that VP engagement started with 17 to see if they could play mop-up. I think the problem for them is they got there a little late. There was only one 17 player left. Then they got stuck down into how do we fight urban warfare to get out of this position. And that's not something you ever want to deal. When every window is a threat, you know you're going to lose people. They got kicked to the middle. He did his best to lay down. But again, that's just hopes for the best. Not every game is going to be a banger, but they are still gaining little by little.
Yeah, and Falcons was just looking to find some blessing from the zone, because even earlier on, they were trying to do some wide rotations. They were trying to go northwest, and then the zone just kept pulling and pulling away from them. But now we got to talk about some of the other squads that we really haven't been able to fully talk about. Twisted, I mean, we talked about Twisted earlier, but this squad is just, we want to see a little bit more. Same with Navi and same with everybody else, because look what Vicious has been able to do now, back-to-back games.
Yeah, and the thing is with Navi and Vitali, they're still, I mean, they're up there, 78, 77 points, right? They're still making those kind of quiet, concerted efforts to get these points. But with Twisted, this was kind of their last good game that we've seen after some unfortunate fumbles, as well as the top. Like when we look at teams like Falcons and we look at teams like VP dropping 0 points, 2 points only in those games, that is a massive open door for these teams to come up and start catching up on the points they desperately need.
And I don't know what's going on with VP, because again, they only got 2 points in that last one, and this is one of those things where I don't think they're playing defensively. I feel like they're still doing what they do. It's just not clicking
It's just
the
not
same
working
way. It's
today.
not. And I don't even know if it's not working. It just isn't getting the points. And so that is the story here. The fact that they have let this become a race here going into the final game is shocking to me, because if Falcons can close, if Vicious has another 10-plus kill game, they're literally right back into that hunt where they're only about 8 points back going into tomorrow.
Yeah,
And the Vicious is just going to be looking to keep that momentum going until tomorrow, too. Are they going to be getting another 10-plus kills game for the Vicious? Or is VP finally going to respond as we head into the final game of PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26, Day 2?
Time to set pole position. VP's been in the lead after a massive day 1, but day 2's been a little bit more quiet. VC been eating all the points, where Falcons wanting to try to catch up. How are we going to move into tomorrow? Because remember, it's all about whoever is in first place plus 10 points, and then we go smash all the way.
Exactly, Matt. I can't wait to see how this one's going to end up, because now it feels like this has become a lot more of a wide open affair at the top of the leaderboard. Yes, VP still has a pretty comfortable lead, but it has been getting less and less so. They've been feeling that pressure all day, and they haven't been able to rake in a ton of points.
They had a comfy lead at the start of the day. Now they have like, whenever your sock feels like it has like that wrinkle on the inside of it and you keep stepping on it.
Yeah.
You're still happy that you have your shoes on, but it's still kind of annoying.
And at least the sock isn't wet. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Everybody knows that is. Now, plane path going to be very southern. This is could lead to some, I guess, weird starts as we look at this team. Liquid's going to go away from Georgia Pole. They're going to go for a drop pretty close to AGAL. Gen G's going to be down here, as well as GAM. VC is going to have Novo to work around. So now eyes just kind of turn, I think, most notably to VP and Falcons. How much can they get out of a circle like this? If this goes up on the main island, Falcons going to love it, specifically if it pulls that mill to power side of it. VP also going to have control over the western side, but no. It is going to all come back down to a focus point on Radio Tower right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see how VC wants to approach this first circle, if they're going to be one of those teams that wants to get up to that radio tower and be that kind of damage-dealing, harassing team, or if they're going to look for like some of the positions that are a little more west, kind of anticipating, future potential movements of the circle, I should say, is a very big question on how, different teams like to approach that area. I think about some of the America's teams. I think they're more keen to go up to the very tippy top of that and just lock that down and try to play for some kills and things like that.
Say we play a little bit more wild. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Is that okay?
Not going to argue. Well, Falcons not so much right now.
No.
Team Liquid's playing very, I guess, aggro, but in a different style. Early game aggro, which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, Liquid came in with a game plan, and they're sticking to it. For the most part, it hasn't gone 100% to plan.
I think it's going to be APAC that goes for the top of the radio tower. They want to shoot all the things. I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably VC or maybe... AGAL has shown a lot of strength out of playing that position. They don't do it a lot, but when they do, it's scary.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just curious what Vicious's ideas are. That's where I'm leaning right now, especially given where they're at in the leaderboard and the day they've had.
Vicious is, they are, yes, vicious. We're not arguing that, but it feels like it's not just bloodthirsty. You don't want to say it's like barbarian rage, charging at whatever you can get. There is a methodology to the madness, and it is just a quiet strength that they bring out. Is popping a little bit of a, what do you call it whenever like a boat pops a wheelie? It can't be a wheelie because it doesn't have wheels.
I was just wondering the same thing in the back of my head. I'm like, what do you even call this?
A boatie?
When a boatie? There you go. Sure.
Boatie
we'll go with that for now.
face?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. But Myth going to make a quick rotation across the bridge. Wants to get ahead of any potential campers. Who knows if VC had gotten really spicy. They are going to go up to the top here with Simon T. Just him for now. Curious if there's going to be more heading that way. Seems to be the case. Myth has the option for kind of the compound underneath the hill if they want.
I don't like this. I feel like Myth is like, nobody's shooting at us. Maybe we can go radio tower. Jacob, I think, I think they maybe spotted somebody a bit more on the top that was profiling them. Yeah, now they're going to go ahead and go the other side. I was nervous there for a moment.
You might have been right that AGAL wants the top of that radio tower. Like, they are driving in a direction that makes me kind of question what the plan is, or if they're just maybe thinking something very different, because they are moving away from the center of the circle.
Look at this coming up from Vicious. They have just a full commitment onto radio tower. They don't want anything else. They don't want the crossroads. They don't want the control compounds around it. They are just committed up here. And yeah, it can be good if you have this position for long enough and the circle stays over here. But if it leaves, boy, does it suck to get out of that point. I have to assume that they've got an emergency pickup or something to kind of like leapfrog over all of this, because trying to get out of that spot sucks.
Yeah, it can be very treacherous. There is no doubt about that. HAL went into Novo proper, so kind of curious if they're sort of hedging their bets maybe. I don't know if they're looking to gatekeep or looking for a boat, or if they've got a team in mind that they wanted to try to cut off in rotation in that direction potentially.
We do have those two emergency pickups, most notably with 17, but also Falcons has called one, and that makes me scared. If they go all the way to the opposite side of it, Team Liquid's already got control over that southern coast, so Falcon's going to be coming into this blind. Is it a full four-man, or maybe is it just a bit of a scout? It looks like most people are converging, and Falcons going to put their pole position placement, trying to catch up to VP on an emergency pickup, blind send into military base.
I think I saw a P90 in the mix there for them on the back of Kickstart's bag, so I think that should be pretty nice stuff for Falcons to work with if they do get in a fight when they come down. Now, they do have some stuff west of the end of
is so tall, and they can actually hit these shots pretty easy.
That's not impossible for players of this caliber. You're absolutely right, Matt.
Are VC watching it? Oh, they're starting to beat in and look that direction. Are they going to take any shots just yet? I don't see anything coming out. They might let this one go, but there was a big opportunity to get something out of that. All right, Falcons, you made it past that section. You can see VC watching it. Longer range, actually, I think it was Gam was maybe taking some shots. I'm just afraid for wherever Falcons falls.
Yeah, Simon T did just scoop up a crate there as well for himself. Drove down off the top of the mountain. Nobody's watching the backside of it, really. 17's all the way tunneled in on the compound over on that other side. Now, there is a red zone here, and that can be a little bit scary for sure. Will help create some cover for the teams on the mountain if the circle ends up in this area. Just got to fan out about it a bit here as Falcons wait this out. VC has some safety inside of the compound if they so choose, but Simon T just going to be coming back. It is going to be the P90 that he scooped up for his squad from that crate to the south. And yeah, okay.
Another thing to note, we do have Italia that's going for an emergency pickup, but 17 actually after their emergency pickup, I believe, found the vehicle that was along the road. I think that Falcons was aiming to try to drop on that vehicle, pick it up, and then move wherever else. Saw the fact that 17 had picked it up, and that might be why they made more of a commitment back in the radio tower, but that means that Tig, Shrimsy, and the rest of the boys are just going to be on foot, navigating that Badlands hillside, coming out of the radio tower and hoping the circle gives them some favors, because if it cuts far west up to the north, that's going to be a really hard trek on foot.
There is one boat, but it is a little bit dangerous, as we can see. Virtus Pro has settled in to one of those bridge camp positions where they're trying to hide that they're here. Lou's been driving around for a little while. The rest of Twisted just past Pachinki right now, so they're a bit far away. So if there's a trap that is sprung on top of him, he might be in trouble. Let's see if they want to mess with him as he goes to grab for this boat.
Grab the boat, but then the lighthouse could be a problem. I think it's Correxy that's playing up there right now. The rest of Twisted are making the rotate. They might be just going for the cove that's just to the north of where we see VP playing from. You know, the kind of one that leads into all the other houses. If VP just goes for ascended off the side, they could be harassed by a light. Actually, no. Lou looks like he's cutting more to the west. Interesting.
I think this means that Twisted won't fall into this trap. Oh, no, they're driving into it.
Oh, I thought they might just go Ferry Pier. Lou, you might be safe, but nobody else is. That's a problem. 2 down already. Twisted took the path of least resistance, but it was actually heavily resisted.
Oh, and that's so smart there from VP to not shoot at Lou. Lou was trying to bait out some shots by getting in and out of the boat a little bit there to see if anybody was going to try to punish him. Turned out there was a punishment waiting, but Virtus Pro was even more patient. Who knew? polar bears could stalk their prey like that. They do a phenomenal job there. Get themselves two guaranteed points.
Vitality, where are you going to stop? As the circle does kind of move more center of everything. So GAM going to be in a great spot. Gen G, full sense, looks like they've got inside track to a great point to play from. Team Liquid's just going to continue to hold down the south. VC's got the radio tower, do those shots back over at DK. Anyone's Legend, Shadow also have to move in from the east. T1's going to cross that eastern bridge. They should be fine. Really, it's just about now what does Twisted do? Lose on the island, but he's all by himself. As Vitality's going to be landing on top of GAM, but this building doesn't have the best sight lines onto everything that's going on above it. Tanbu's actually rotating away while Vitality just sneaks in and takes the spot.
Yeah, this is a little bit concerning for GAM. Now they kind of have to hold on in this 2-2 split. Clories and Tanbu starting to hoof it back over, maybe even have a vehicle to work with. Duck Juice, though, underneath, able to take down Hello My Bad. So that's a nice start. But you do have Gedrox going down as well, so Vitality felt like maybe they were going to have the drop on GAM. No.
Fifth place right now, and it feels like that pack that's chasing Twisted Minds at 70 points, just going to be trying to usurp it, come up quick. DK's on a bit of a run of their own right now, so Vitality instead goes for the safer play. They surrender the building and just retreat to the oil derricks, and that's not very safe. There is no hard angles around that, so you always feel like you're vulnerable because there is no specific safe angle from everything.
Yeah, it is not fun to play out there. As anybody who has tried has found out. So Vitality going to be in a really precarious position, to say the least. KK just outside of the...
GAM was expecting them to push, man.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. GAM has to. I mean, you have to be ready because as Vitality, you don't have great options. And so one of the options might just be to try and fight. But Vitality's going to try to squeak their way into the late game if possible.
VP's now leaving this point. So if VP leaves, Perfectix can swoop in back behind, get the blue chips, maybe fill up the trunk a little bit more with some of the basic loot and go for a blue chip because there is the res beacon that's just kind of the northeast of that. Blue doesn't have any vision on it, so he wouldn't know. Perfectix might just have to play this one safe, and yeah, he's actually going to move over into the west and doesn't know that VP's left.
Well, VP has a ton of circle for themselves, too.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have gotten clustered in the center of the military base, center of the circle as best they can. So that entire west side's open. Baron, that's a nice shot with the ace. Takes down End. End trying to scoot away, but cannot. Will be claimed by Kiss. So Myth, but Baron gets caught by a grenade from Raining right on top of him. Heather, 2 HP, trying to find some safety to heal.
You got to kill that man. You can't leave him on 2 HP. He will murder your whole squad. Na'Vi wanted a piece of what we saw just 1 second ago. Try to get themselves back into the point hunt. The type pretty far away. He's just got to keep a control angle on what's going on with Hackatory and the rest of the crew. So this is going to be abandoned by the circle, and we move directly on to military base proper, and the airfields and Team Liquid already in a good point, left that coastline. Going to be kind of setting up around that, but BC, okay, now you've got to move down from the radio tower, and Falcons already kind of prepped for it, expecting it to go this direction. Is going to be moving into, guess what, maybe the bunkers position? That's about the best you can find there.
Yeah, it gets a little sparse on the southern side of the military base. Some of the buildings in the center give you some level of comfort and safety for sure. And some of those like missile silo things are not too bad at times once the circle starts to kind of work in that direction. Exactly where Gen G is. I don't know.
Run right back into shadow.
Dude, T1 is just, they've lost the script. They've lost the plot. I think they're going for the revive.
Maybe?
I'm pretty sure. No?
Shadow doesn't even take shots.
They're just making a wide wrap? Are they going to go up to the tower?
I might be trying to just go around the radio tower itself, because sure, I mean, Tycon's up there, but no, he's taking the shots. Na'Vi doesn't really like playing into the north, so they might just go ahead and jump back down to the south. That's going to be the field area that we can see the Team Liquid's got mostly under control, but no, instead it's just going to be a cut and run right down in the center. The Gen-G's too separated to really do too much about this unless they get a knock right here. Nope. It's going to be mostly full sense again. That's going to try to get something out of it. Belmont gets knocked onto Hackatory.
Yeah, from those garage houses, Full Sense able to connect a ton of damage. Now, Boostic does have the M249. Finds a knock to try to relieve some of this pressure that Full Sense was able to create, but Tigger can find a good grenade here. Could spell the doom of Na'Vi, and it's perfect! Oh!
Okay, Full Sense. More control over the center would be good. Getting rid of Na'Vi would be magnificent. Na'Vi still holding on to 4th place, but just by 1 point. Vitality has to be loving watching this happen. The kill feed is now Ferris, the last one up. He's just going to be hiding in crates. There's nothing else that he can really do over here. Maybe he can sneak over and get these reses, but you can see everybody's just trying to chain crawl to him. Haktori should be resable. I don't know about the other side of it, as Gen G is going to lose a player on the other side of this.
Yeah, I mean, again, Gen G really loves these widespread formations. They just don't work in a lobby like this. There's just too many good players, and there isn't enough cover from the positions that the other players had taken to bail out anybody who gets under pressure. They just have to kind of sacrifice players left and right. Duckmai, ooh, he's got a knock there onto Hansi, I believe. So it's going a little bit awkward for... Yep, there you go. It's awkward for Shadow is what I should say.
Yeah, Shadow followed T1, and Vicious was just watching that the whole time. So this does cost Vicious placement in the circle, but there is some open areas down in the southeast that they can play around. Shadow, you can see, just kind of trapped out here right now with Duckmine out down. Jexy does get that knock. Tycon, though, is not going to let that go quietly. I think he wants some vengeance back. Blue Zone going to be putting in some work, and it just takes a couple of taps to get Jexy down.
Yeah, but you're kind of seeing the results of what you were talking about earlier, Matt, where coming down off this mountain sucks. Like, and like to VC's credit, they're trying to wait this out long enough that they don't have to deal with teams when they're coming down those slopes. But because Shadow took so long over in Novo, they got involved with a fight with AGAL, I think, early on that it's kind of getting a little bit tricky for them. Seeing some mortars come into play, Scappy doing some damage, Navi losing their lives, and they are done for the day. Currently in fourth. Feels safe-ish, but then who knows with Geekay still there. Vitality still has 2 players up.
Okay, where do you go? VP looks like they're going to get control over to the southwest. What they're stretching out more. T1's barely touched the circle. Shadow doing the same, but they ran right into the Falcons. Remember, Falcons just kind of running down on foot. Shadow doesn't, at least has a vehicle. Get a little bit further into this, but I think that Falcons just might want those vehicles and might start chasing after Shadow.
Oh, no doubt. And also, you know, with Kamal's being knocked up front there, you're going to be feeling pretty comfortable to even scoop up a point potentially here and claim a lot of control over this eastern edge at the very least temporarily. You'll have the safety of these shelters. Gustav knows that there's a player in there, so thinking about the grenade, but Cessna dug in the back.
Gustav better be careful on the peak. They also don't want to do too much damage to the car, so wouldn't be surprised if they try to avoid going for the tires. Actually, they don't care. Just throw the nade right back behind it. Setsuna in some trouble. He has to run forward, runs right out, does get the knock. Full play, does at least get 1 point before he goes down, and it's on to Shrimsy of all people.
Yeah, he had to go for something crazy, and he knew it, and almost converted with more than just one, but opted to just stick for the point, try to keep themselves out of that bottom position. In fact, it's a 3-way tie at the very bottom of the leaderboard with AGAL and 17, so keeping things a little bit interesting down there. Of course, every placement matters. You want to get a little bit more money. There is Tycon, one of the 2 survivors for Vicious, just taking a peek, seeing what's going on with Falcons, seeing if maybe there's a free point available, but none will be offered up to him, and he is going to have to find his way in. Now, there's options for him for sure. He has either like the side of the hill if Falcons abandon it, but because they're on the top of it, he's not going to have that available to him right now. There's some stuff to the west that he could drive to that has a little bit of cover, so there's things here that Tycon can work with, at least in the next circle, it looks like.
Pal's playing over into the east as well. Looks like they're just trying to find something. Luke 12 is going to go down on the rotate from Team Liquid. I think that they had managed to call back in one of their players, and it instantly gets punished. Cowboy, yep. He just tried to go for something, at least maybe scout out for the rest of the squad. Is now Team Liquid's just kind of the odd team out. There's nothing in this section of the circle that feels good, and they're just trapped over here, and this is just been kind of what's going on for Team Liquid. They're finding the kills, but they just can't find a way into some of these circles that are just so mean, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and there's this little oil drum that Tycon has found for safety. Sees Curdy driving around the outside. Yep, Kurt just looking for any kind of safety. Him and Alo crossed paths to see if there was something that they could do to get into this next circle, but there was not much.
Heard the Chinese casters over to my left here. They just flip it out. It's like, 17, managing to get up. Now tied up with Team Liquid, get that distance away from Shadow and AGAL if they can find it. Team Liquid now going to get eliminated. 17's got control over the south in that, I guess, more open territory, but VP is going to move to the crates to the west of them that they're taking shots. Is now POW. I mean, what do you do, man? You've got Vitality. Remember, we saw them go to those oil derricks earlier. They're going to be gatekeeping you one side, and you still have to get where we've seen the compound that everybody keeps trying to just emergency pick up to, that GAM's got control over, the most eastern section of the circle.
Yeah, things get really uncomfortable for anybody not in this current circle because trying to get through should be relatively challenging. VP's actually sending it pretty deep towards the center. I love the way VP has played this game from start to finish. Controlling that western bridge not only gave them points, but it also gave them so much space on the western side that they've opened up a lot of the circle for themselves here in the mid game.
Look at this weird thing we've got going on. Falcons got to run to the circle. They get a knock on to Tycon. But now Tycon feeds the information over to Powell. So Powell's going to try to sneak over here. It looks like he was maybe trying to backstab onto the Falcons. Remember, Falcons trying to see if they can catch up the VP. VP's in a pretty decent spot in the circle, while Falcons just got to chase. Gustav not going to let it happen, though. So Falcons getting both players of Vicious on opposite sides of the circle.
Oh, phenomenal reactions here by Gustav. Even though he's down to 1 HP, he's able to hold on just barely. But speaking of holding on, it's now just Quizzy for Vitality. He is looking to find some entry into this circle, but again, there aren't great options. Maybe he can get some kills, has the AK at the ready. Oh, switches over to Mark 12. Falcons trying to make the smoke bridge.
This doesn't feel good. I think they spotted. Nade's going to roll forward. There you go. Tig going to find another one. That's really about pathing, though. But guys, remember, Vitality tried to leave. They didn't like it that direction. They had to retreat back here. Falcons, you're about to just have to fight your way against Gam or Geek K, who's been hearing this firefighting and is now sitting up around the oil derricks waiting to catch. Remember, we talked. There's no safe angles around these things. Geek K is going to have one side of it, Gam on the other. Falcons are walking into a death trap and they don't know it.
And that was Tig's last smoke. So there just isn't any other ways to create extra cover and angles for yourself as Falcons. You have to do it just with your feet and your wits. And we'll see if Gustav has that available. Geek, I don't know how aware they're going to be of this. Gustav might catch.
Oh, Can's playing the wall.
Akan is kind of watching it there, but there's some smokes over here. Some noise being made, though, and now it's danger close. Geek on guard.
Go! Round, but it's changed. It's going to be Park Pro that gets the knock on to Gustav. Gustav at least takes down Akan. Now, Falcons, where do you go? Crossfire now being set up. Gam taking shots at Kickstart. He's just trying to cover any movement for the rest of Falcons to see if they get next to Gustav. But great shot comes up from Songjon. Hits it, and now Falcons in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the links there for Sungjoong. Spelling doom. Tiggleton trying to heal through this blue and get into that 8th place spot if possible.
Oh!
He gets the knock on to Sungjoong. They lose track of possibilities. Is Tig going to be able to get the heal off in time? No, they aren't able to get any placement points.
VP jumping on the other side of what's going on with 17 and Jin G. Now just fighting to see how much distance that they can get away from Falcons. VC down behind them. Navi down. Vitality down. Twisted down. So Falcons going to hold down that 2nd place position. It's just about how much more can VP get. 4 kills right now, and it's going to be moving into a very foot push friendly section of the map.
Yeah, this is still looking okay-ish for VP. I mean, again, they're going to have some opportunities with these barrels and other things that are in the way of the military base proper that they can work with to at least keep themselves somewhat safe, but it requires smokes to get there, and they're going to be sending it deep into the crates.
Okay, squeeze by there. Full Sense is going to be alerted to it, but they don't have the angles on anything going. AGAL is getting picked apart on the other side of this, and they're trying to make their push next to Gam. Gam's still just holding down the compound that they've held for so long, but it's not really inside the circle anymore. Jin G is going to be regrouping just in front of them. It's really just about how much more VP can get, and they've got center control in phase number 6 based off of this move. Uh-oh. That's all I can say for this lobby.
There we go. I'm very curious as well about Full Sense's frag grenade situation, because we saw that they were able to really destroy Na'Vi with those in that moment when they dropped in there. So right now it doesn't seem like they're going to commit those just yet. Maybe trying to get a better idea of where Virtus Pro players are, or maybe just ran out. Hard to say which it is. Geek going to come through with 3 still alive, so not the end of the world for them. You do get Sungjoong with that Lynx back on his feet for them, so some heavy firepower still in the mix.
Big thing for me is AGAL, Gam. They've got to get in the circle. Genji's still holding them out. Genji has been kind of fighting up against them for a while, but D doesn't have the best defended angle against this approach that anyone's Legend's trying to do. You can see that they smoked wall around, moved over onto the other side of the silos, managed to creep in on this one. It's not quite in for safety, and really this back corner that we can see that AGL is playing, it's not inside the safe zone either. They're going to have to move to the more vulnerable side of it, and they much rather kind of play this position, but the other players for Genji can defend D as long as he can find some safety, but they managed to peek up at the perfect side of it, but D holds it, gets the knock on to 1, does go down to the 2nd, but AGAL now down to just destroy, and they had to deal with Gen G. The timing on the other other side of this, though, is Gam played it perfect. They ran across right as soon as AGAL made their move.
Oh, Soul had absolutely wrecked Gam, but because D couldn't hold on his own, he gets hit in a flank angle by Destroy. So he's going to have to crawl down to the safety of the inside of the missile silo to try to survive. But Tanvu, I think, might have a sense of it. The grenade bounces just shy of the mark.
Gam's got to do this fast. GK's back behind them. They need to move as well. Shots now starting to come on to Gam. There's nowhere to go. GK just absolutely massacring Gam. Big Day lands in the middle of them. Follow up. Duck Juice, the last one alive. But now DK's in trouble. Myth is taking shots at them, and this cross is going to be hazardous.
Well, I mean, for GK, getting some kills there is very nice because, again, tough run to make for you going forward, cutting across the sight lines of a couple different teams, but you just bailed Gen G out just a bit as well. So let's see how they're going to opt to try to make their move forward. Still have about 25 seconds until that next circle pops, so Park Pro going to use the folding shield to offer himself a little bit of cover. Meanwhile, Virtus Pro, given the time, given the space, they are going to start creating those foxholes, start creating their defensive network.
Getting scarier and scarier for the lobby by the second. GK's got to move. Gen G's position in the silo to the north, not going to be too good. Destroy still alive for AGL to the south of it. Nothing good happening in the middle of it, as hey, in the middle of all of VP is going to be some mortars coming out. Kiss and the rest of the crew from Myth got control of the north, but DK has the exact same idea that Myth had but we had Gam had a moment ago. They're going to push to the other side of the silo, and can they get any knocks? Nah, Jacob's going to go ahead and spot out EJ to start it off.
That was just short of correct. He hit the top of the crate, couldn't quite get far enough to do any damage to him, so Scappy not really connecting with the mortars, but very, very close with a few of them. But close is not good enough in a game like this where you need to be doing damage to VP to keep them from continuing to extend that lead that they have right now up to 114. GK looking for the res and then probably going to try to take this fight.
Can't really go for too much of a peek because of Destroy's positioning, but Gen G can't move because of where we see GK at. So Park Pro at least finishing one of those problems. Maybe be able to solve the second one here in just a second. Is no Myth still getting involved. Songjong going to get knocked again, and it's just go time. GK's got to jump down right into the waiting arms of Gen G. That's one. Can they get the last shots on Park Pro? No. Trying to step up and around it. The silos providing some level of safety. Myth actually aggressively moving into this position as well, and Park Pro just getting cooked.
Beautiful coordination there from Soul and Bean. Just a perfect timing on the double molly. That was a thing of beauty. That looked like synchronized swimming for a second. Absolutely stunning work from them to keep GK out of their real threat range and problems. Now you have Corexy down. The problem's starting to mount a bit for VP. However, Beamy able to respond, take Bean down from Gen G. More explosions rain in.
If VP can just outweight what's going on with Gen G, they'll have so much more control and safety to play from. Full Sense making in the later stages yet again, trying to see if they can touch that 70s pack that everybody's been hanging out at, but you can see that VP has to be cautious. Myth still getting more maneuverability over into the northeast, trying to get that space away from Full Sense. It's going to be Tigger that's really trying to hold them out. Gen G is the linchpin for everything that's happening right now. Myth can't move to the south because of Gen G's positioning, and VP can't focus on the circle because of Gen G.
Yeah, Gen G is left up a creek without a paddle, man. There is not a lot without a ton of smokes that they're going to be able to do in this scenario, or some unbelievably good frag grenades, some kind of utility going to be necessary to cross this space, it feels like. So there's one. Do we see two? There is a frag here from Soul. It is going to be up and over. Doesn't matter. He gets immediately taken down, and the grenade does not connect.
What do you do, Gen G? You're just, as you said, pretty much got a paddle over here. Spray's going to connect. More points to VP, though. That makes it even scarier for everybody else. It's going to be a squad down. 6 kills now, sitting at trying to touch that 120-point line. Myth, so few options. Kiss does at least manage to get a knock, but it's going to be Tigger that comes alive on the other side of it. This Full Sense finding a great flank onto this. Tigger's been playing aggressively, but he goes down. That means that the whole push coming out from Full Sense on the side has collapsed, and the aggressive play coming up from Myth is punished.
And now it feels like this may just be a Virtus Pro win by nature of the fact that Myth and Full Sense have done so much damage to each other. Scappy going to take a moment to try to regroup or look at Correxy. He doesn't want to give them the opportunity if possible. There's still a lot of those emergency covers on the ground between Correxy and Myth, so he's having a tough time maybe finding the angle, but Lukarux immediately finds the re-knock, and there's the finish. It's Flash with the double.
More kills, more placement. VP is absolutely feasting right now. Full sense. They managed to creep up just 2 points back behind Twisted Minds. But really, it's going to be about that center dot. Lukaruk's going to be very close to it one side. Lots of compounds and Full Sense playing off, I guess, buildings the way they can really maneuver around them. VP's got the crates. Yeah, that's kind of good, but trying to bounce from one to the other feels so punishable, especially when you got VP playing mostly down into the southeast.
I like that our observers are showing us Belmoth right now because he's the key guy in this situation for Full Sense because he has a Lynx. That can be an instant difference maker for them. Meanwhile, Beamy has a Panzer, so two of the big key weapons that could be involved in this fight, that could turn the tide one way or another, are going to be big points of focus potentially. So Beamy Belmoth, are you going to be able to do anything?
Here's my question. How superstitious are you? VP, if they manage to take the last round right before moving into the Smash rules, means the fact that they're pretty much going to have to double it up to follow out of everything. So VP, though, they want points. They want distance. They want everybody to be chasing after them. They want to be in charge to start punishing everybody else that could try to take the position. Nixie does get down Flash. That's going to open up Lukarux to get more aggressive on positioning above it all. VP cross side of the entirety of the circle, trying to make sure that nobody goes for a push after the down player. Going to get a great line right onto Full Sense, walking through the smokes, and right in the face, Lukarux, no fear. VP comes up big last game, and they are setting the pace in a big way.
This is a huge moment for Virtus Pro. They are going to set that point threshold that much higher because of it and give themselves that many more opportunities to be your champions here at EWC 26 coming into tomorrow. A big win, a big statement game, and the threshold will be 136 points tomorrow.
Oh man, Falcons, you're going to have your work cut out for you. 15 points back behind you is going to be VC, who's been having a crazy day. Let's just be honest on that. They have just been charging up the leaderboards, but Virtus Pro, cold as ice, just locking it down at the end. It's been a bit quiet until it wasn't.
Right, and then that game essentially sets the leaderboard back to where it was at the beginning of today in terms of the distance between them and Falcons. It's almost the exact same point spread that we had at the start. So even though Falcons felt like they were maybe going to be able to catch up a little bit to Virtus Pro here, this last game just undid those first 5 games.
It breaks the mental of everybody back behind them because now Falcons have to know that VP are going to be trying to hold them back. They can play 6 games. They're confident in that. They're comfy with it. They don't have to worry about it. These guys get points every single time. Everybody else, we've been talking about how close that pack of points is, leading down into everybody. What, Navi at 78, Vitality at 77. Those guys can't go for big, huge plays because they don't want to lose the money. They don't want to lose the standings on the club championship. Everybody's going to have to start playing leaderboard positioning and eyes on their own individual futures rather than going after VP in that first place position.
Exactly that. Yeah, you can see Nixie as always the most excited out of the bunch. But another thing that we should point out is that if anybody wants to hit that smash where they win via chicken dinner, Falcons needs almost 40 points. Just hit the threshold, and that's before even needing to then get the chicken dinner to get the win.
And we talked about this is a change-up for IGLs for Falcons. Yes, it's been going great, but it is not the nigh immaculate VP that we've been seeing. Just what, one game where they didn't manage to find something off of it. You can see the guys talking right now. It's just like, yeah, come on. Got to bring it a little bit. Gunnar and the rest of the crew knows that they're going to be following it up, and a lot of it falls onto that man's shoulders, Gustav. You've got to find something big.
Tycon, no, you guys played good today.
No, why?
No, it's okay.
Somebody made a bad call.
I love Tycon. He's so funny.
I mean, Vitality also having a very decent day for themselves. They've managed to touch up into that top 4 with a little bit of a slide here or there down into 5th place, but it's just 1 point.
Yep.
VC just a little bit ahead of them. And most of where we saw like Navi and Vitality losing their points was off of VC having those big come-up games just back to back to back.
Oh, what a day for VC. I love that, man. I just love when those APAC teams just kind of find their groove and just start hitting everything they're looking at. We know that their mechanics are cracked. We know that APAC stands for all players are cracked.
There is so much looming in the horizon that we have eyes on to tomorrow, and if there's one guy that knows how to fight your way through a desperate situation, it is going to be BATTLEGROUNDS. Let's go ahead and throw it down to Barney to get some insights.
Okay, climbing the leaderboard, gradually but steadily. Twisted Minds, I've got BATTLEGROUNDS here. One of the guys who's possibly, got the most reps on the stage. Doing an incredible job so far, but like I said, it's been a steady day for you guys. Tell us how it's been from your point of view.
Definitely for a team who is defending the title, and it's not the best day for us still. The beginning was amazing. Yeah, we really felt like we could manage to come back and get back there somewhere around first place. Unfortunately, we didn't, and that's only our mistake. But that's life. We have to learn on our mistakes and try to be better tomorrow.
Starting the day knowing that you obviously have a pretty large hill to climb, as Virtus.pro obviously soaked up all those points yesterday. Starting off with the chicken dinner, was that a nice morale boost for you guys? Did you guys feel a lot more positive after that?
Yeah, definitely. Every time you win a game in PUBG esports, it's amazing feeling. And after that, we managed to get even a bigger game without win, but with many kills. And we felt we can do that. But just as you have seen, it was not enough for today, and very unfortunate won the game. And last game, VP killed us and then won a game. That's very unfortunate. We're sad about it, but that's how it is.
That's how it is. I mean, even saying that, I think if you take just today's points into consideration, I believe you're still top 5 on the day. I think 45 points on the day alone. So, like we've said, a little bit better each and every time. But, what do you feel like needs to change coming into tomorrow, possibly? Because tomorrow, everyone knows you've got to have a big day, like most of the other teams here.
For tomorrow, we have to come and be better than before, basically, yeah. Just do better in every single aspect of the game, individually, being aggressive as we've been today, and do less mistakes. That's how it is. Lucky is luck, luck is luck. I don't know if we're gonna get it tomorrow or not. We just have to try to do by ourselves. Yep.
So do better in every aspect of the game. Okay, no pressure then.
Also, of course, we need VP to play very bad, Falcons to play bad, and other teams to play bad.
So quite a lot of variables going into tomorrow. BATTLEGROUNDS, I really appreciate you joining me in this interview. Best of luck going into tomorrow, because it is going to be our last day of the grand finals. And of course, Smash Rule comes into play as well. But before you go anywhere, we've got another interview across the stage with Kalaris.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much, Barney and BATTLEGROUNDS. I thought I'd change things up a little bit. I talked to Quizzy at the beginning of the day, and the VP fans are out in force. The Vitality fans are out in force, of course. I've got Quizzy once again to have a second check-in with him and see how things have gone throughout the day. Currently, Vitality is in 5th place at the moment. Talk to me about your games overall throughout the day, as well as the win that you guys got on Rondo.
I would say it was a pretty good day, pretty solid until the last 2 games. Last 3 games we kind of rolled, because first 3 games it's a win, 2nd place, 3rd place, we did everything we could. But I think last 3 games we had some mistakes, and it cost us a little bit of points that we could have get. But overall, I would say it was a pretty good day still, because we finally won the game.
Yeah, center spot on Rondo was able to keep you kind of nicely defended overall, I think is fair to say. A difficult scenario coming into day 2, though. We've not really had to deal with Smash Rule really ever before here properly in international PUBG. So kind of what is the outlook now for day number 3 here for Vitality? Surely it's 2nd place is the direction. What are we thinking here?
I would say the highest we can get. Because, as you know, I did even ask you what place are we, because we don't count points, we don't count places before the games, we don't even know what place we ended. So basically, we're just gonna play our maximal games and see in the end how far did we get.
All right, well, thank you very much, Quizzy, for joining me here. That is, of course, Quizzy from Vitality. Also, of course, Vitality very much in the race for the club championships. That does it here. Let's head on back to the studio.
Boys, VP just wanted to shut us up. That's exactly what ended up happening. They pretty much just laid out a goose egg the whole day.
Yeah.
Until we got to the final game, and they're like, watch this. That's right. We're going to be able to get that chicken dinner. By the way, at the start of the day, VP had a 28-point lead to second place, Falcons. Ending day 2, VP has a 27-point lead to Falcons. They were able to close the game.
Yes! That's a tough end. It was a tough last game because everybody did what they had to do throughout that entire day today until the last game. And Virtus Pro just got a good shift. They really, I'm not saying they won because of the shift. They filled really effectively. They found their way through planes, 2 barrels, locked up a good spot. They earned that every step of the way. And not because other teams weren't trying, man. Falcons did everything they could, but they just ran into a wall after wall after wall of defenders. And it just is what it is, right? Like Virtus Pro, I think maybe let us hope. They gave us hope. That's why the first couple games were bad. They were like, we don't want you guys to give up early.
They're just taking their foot off the gas so they could make all the other teams feel like they had a chance.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I mean, we did have some teams absolutely pop off today. Vicious, we talked about one of those teams, Geekay as well, an impressive run coming up. And it's difficult, man, when you have teams like Virtus Pro, all the way up the leaderboard, it can be discouraging to try to keep pushing. But man, that's also the beauty of it. Something else I want to talk about from the bottom of the leaderboard coming all the way up, there's only about 15 to 16 points separating 16th from 8th, which means the amount of money you can win in just one game for your team is astronomical as well. Don't forget about the club points either.
Yeah, you can see it right there. I mean, 12th place to 7th place, too. That is only 18 points separating them. And the jump up in regards to money, you mentioned it, too, especially once you end up getting into 8th place. Those club championship points do come into contention. But for tomorrow, there is a world where a team could end up challenging VP if VP does start slow, right?
True.
We saw what Vicious was able to do in 3 games in a row, making sure that they got 10 or more eliminations, being in the top 3. And right now, the Smash Zone to win via Smash Roll is set at 136 points. They have to hit that threshold first, and then they have to get a chicken dinner to do it. So we just need to see an insane, consistent day out of a lot of teams tomorrow if they even want to challenge VP.
Wildly consistent, and then you got to dodge VP's anger, right? Because that, I think, is also a risk. The Falcons may come under the wrath of Virtus Pro right out of the gate tomorrow. Its idea is they're the only team close, 40 to the next team. If they just hot drop Falcons or hunt them down, they can just wait out the 6 in a sort of game of attrition and walk away with that big prize.
They can, and again, other teams maybe having their target on their backs. If they see a third party and they choose between, hey, let's go for the Falcons or let's go for VP, they're obviously going to go for VP. But that's also the scary thing about VP is they just need 10 points and they just need a win, and they could literally end this tournament in 2 games.
Yeah. It's looking grim for everybody else. I'm just gonna call a spade, boys. I'll be here tomorrow. Things could go crazy, but VP looks good. And I mean, for a club team that right now they're in 10th in the cup, like the 1,000 points you get for this win would actually put them really up there into a fun little battle going into next week. So I think this is big for the club. It's big for them. It's definitely big for this roster's future,
100%.
if nothing else. So props to VP. It just kills me a little bit inside that I'm giving these laurels today with 6 games left to play.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow
it's PUBG. PUBG happens.
Maybe Falcons will do what Vicious was able to do in those 3 games.
I hope so.
And it's possible. You guys have been saying it. PUBG Battlegrounds does end up happening, especially here at EWC 26. But don't forget, tomorrow, the final day, Smash Roll is at play. Even though VP has a big lead, there's still a chance for all those fans out there, whether you're Falcons, whether you're Vicious, or maybe we'll get another insane surprise from tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. We'll be right here at the 7WG, Toffees, and Godspeed. Thanks for watching.